It takes so much focus to follow a line of thought. It takes so much focus to draw a line and then build upon it. Is it natural to think in a series of lines? Are writing and drawing acts of translation? Our brains trying to transpose an ambiguous feeling into a series of neat lines which somehow communicate to others a relatable idea? I'm thinking about the miracle of drawing light and shadow. I'm thinking about our ability to store memories in a Rolodex that can only be accessed by a series of associations experienced in real time. It takes an experience to unlock a memory. What are the memories I store for no obvious reason? The found footage kind of memories. Like the 25-cent tintypes found at secondhand stores. Someone's children playing in a sprinkler. Someone's dad leaning against a motorcycle. Distant relatives of distant strangers, photographed at holiday gatherings. Photographs are sometimes frustrating to me, because they leave out so much. They capture a body from the perspective of another, which may or may not embody someone's self. But photography, more than other approaches to art making, is associated with capturing reality. When a photo is only really capable of capturing a singular sort of visual reality, a reality that can easily fail to communicate a subject's complex personhood, a landscape's history, or any depth of feeling. A drawing holds history and feeling in each line, and it doesn't pretend to be anything it's not. It's a work of fiction, like anything else. It's an interpretation, and it doesn't purport to be anything more. Considering Suzanne Sontag's words on the social stigmas associated with TB and cancer, people thought TB came from a sort of bottled energy, suppressed emotions, creativity, or any kind of hindered self-expression. This bottling would manifest in a kind of inward energy, where the body would begin eating away at itself, hence the term consumption. Now, decades past TB's heyday, despite increased common understanding of how the body functions, I have a tendency to follow a parallel kind of superstitious logic whenever something strange or unexplained happens to my body. I tend to first blame stress, an abstract feeling. Although I can trace the physical effects of stress, how it changes my eating habits, diet becomes carb and sugar heavy, my energy levels, I become sedentary, and my voice, I bottle, and I get stuck in negative loops of thought. There's at least some truth to the idea that there are physical repercussions to psychological disease. Found a lump in my forearm recently, and my thoughts immediately jump to, even if this lump is not cancer, it is evidence that my body can produce tumors of sorts, putting me one step closer to cancer. This thing in my arm, combined with the stuff going on in my lower eyelid, both make me nervous. I wonder if they're connected, maybe related to stress, maybe related to diet. How does stress lead to illness? What is the chemical breakdown or the reorganization of energy, energy being the lifeblood in my pseudoscientific way of thinking, that makes stress so unhealthy? I think about how cysts and styes were both issues that a past partner has dealt with, and how I didn't have issues with either of these things until I started sleeping with this person. At one point I heard, when a baby goes through the birth canal, they pass genes to the mother. At what point during the birthing process do participating parties become vulnerable to gene transference? Can this happen when you have sex with someone? Are we engaging in gene transference every time we're intimate with another person? What kinds of genes are shared in these moments? Do these genes stay with us forever? Certainly, any relationship or person we engage deeply with changes us to some extent. Could these changes be considered biological? I'm falling asleep holding hands with a friend. Only one leg is under the covers, an attempt to extend parts of myself to another. A lukewarm attempt, a guarded attempt. I'm being shown a vulnerability I can't match even though I'd like to. I'm thinking about psychosis, how I've romanticized the unguarded expression of self, and the creativity that I imagine exists during periods of psychosis. What I don't think about is the fear that might propel those who are going through psychotic spells to expel their thoughts, as if the creative output was motivated by a need to dump, because there are too many thoughts, an orgy of coincidences, in the words of Chris Kraus. It's my second time visiting home since having moved, and my second time getting sick immediately upon returning. Am I sick now because my immune system is also on vacation, opening doors to weird bacteria, or is my body more susceptible to getting sick because I'm stressed to be home? Last night I had a conversation with a friend about how geography, place, and environment might shape its inhabitants. Thinking about how the weather in Seattle is seldom extreme, and how the natural disasters that threaten are few and far between. It's easy to forget that home sits on the edge of a fault line, patiently and passively. Longtime Northwest residents seem to embody the geography of the region. Quiet, polite, thick-shelled kind of uncooked eggs. Fibrous winter peas, hardy kale with stalks more than leaves. The marine layer covers the city like a blanket, and the mountains shelter us like overprotective parents. Here I feel like I have grammar but lack vocabulary. I have structure but know little about what I'm working to organize. When I come home, I succumb to the fog, the mountains, and the constant rain, absorbing them in all their subtleties. Behind my eyes a pressure builds, while the rest of my body feels languid and loose.